Immediate impressions of the 2021 BMW S1000RR that I am on right now. Insanely comfortable, as expected. The seating position is very comfortable. You have plenty of leg room. The seat itself is very soft and supple. The mirrors work. They don't vibrate like crazy because this engine is buttery smooth. Just from the little bit that I've ridden it, again, very initial impressions. We have the 2021 BMW S1000R in brilliant storm metallic black. The thing's gorgeous in person. If there's more light, you definitely see the metallic flakes in this. It's definitely eye-catching. I've always been critical of the S1000RRs because they just do everything so well and it makes it feel boring. This bike, it does everything incredibly well as expected, but it's not really that boring actually. The speed picks up so fast and so easily that it gives you that visceral feeling that you always want in a motorcycle. And that feeling is in part because it has a 205 horsepower motor with 83 foot-pounds of torque. And you really feel that as you come out of the turns, the power just comes on. The power delivery that this bike has, being so smooth in that transition. Oh yeah, that's good. That's very good. It actually just changes directions flawlessly. On top of that, this has one of the most soft and advanced suspensions on it. The older ones that I tested had a dynamic suspension and you could sort of feel the bump still, but when it came to this machine, the road that I was on was actually pretty bumpy and the suspension soaked it up so well that I barely lost any traction while I was going around a turn at speed or as I crested a hill and hit a bump. It didn't buck me off or throw me. And this suspension is just very plush. It's typical BMW, it's very comfortable. One thing I really like about it is this room here, you can scoot all the way back. So a person that's taller than 6 foot, taller than myself, they have so much room to get back, get under the bars, get under the screen, and really tuck in when they want to go fast. Now, part of this motor that had an issue coming to the US was that dead spot going between like 6,000 to 8,000 RPM. The dead spot right here. Second gear, rolling. Nothing. There it goes. And the owner hasn't done any flashes yet, but he does have a Bryn tune coming. But this motorcycle, I wanted to feel that dead spot, and sure enough, there is. As you get on it, it just does nothing. And then, oh yeah, let me go. It's like it remembers that for some reason we need to speed up. Why the US market got that flaw, I have no idea. But Bryn tuning fixes that no problem. On that note, I'm hoping to ride this back to back once he does get a flash so I can kind of get a better feel once this thing's opened up and ready to go. Now there's plenty of videos out there that go greatly in depth with the electronics on here, and honestly I would not have time or daylight to show you all of what this bike can do. However, as you see, the display is honestly the best display that's on the market. The display is super easy to read and the graphics are incredible. They're very clear, there's a good contrast to them, so I had sun blasting me in the face and I could clearly see what the gauges were telling me. Now speaking of the electronics, I feel that they saved me on this road because there's a lot of loose gravel, there's a lot of bumps, and it definitely upsets the chassis. But with that electronics that are in here, it makes everything so much easier and so compliant that you feel so confident while riding this bike. Wants to lean over. It's almost kind of surprising at first when it leans because it just wants to be on the side of the tire. It wants you to get off that center patch and over on the side because that's where it feels just at home. It feels natural. I tell you what, this road's kind of bumpy and this suspension is doing a wonderful job right now. Now speaking with the suspension for this motorcycle, they didn't go with what everyone expects with the Öhlins, which was kind of, tricky. I didn't know if the suspension was going to be able to be at that level, and I tell you from experience, just from riding through here with the bumps and the turns, that it's very good. And I think BMW took a good risk not going and doing what every other brand does. Now speaking of that, they also didn't go with the Brembo brakes. They went with their own BMW brake calipers, and I tell you what, this feel of them, while it's not very bitey like I like, they have a good progression to them where you start to squeeze it and it grabs, it slows you down. It's very confidence inspiring, especially for this type of bike where you just hop on and feel instantly comfortable on. Oh, like I said, the brakes, even though they're not Brembo, still feel amazing. Great confidence inspiring for sure. Now, the thing that I always get into when it comes to motorcycles is what sort of feeling did it invoke in me? How do I react when I get off of it? Am I all smiles? Am I tired because it beat the hell out of me? Or did I get off it not really feeling much of anything? And like I said before, this bike normally had that feeling of, yeah, it's fast, it's awesome, but it's, you know, it just does everything so well that it becomes boring. I feel like they added a little bit of edge to this bike. Granted, once it gets flashed, I'll really get to tell what this beast can do. Riding it, you feel like a freaking hero because it's so good at everything. That is hard to describe other than easy and powerful. You go into a turn, you drive out of it, and you just know that this bike is staying planted and going and taking off. There's no doubt in my mind that riding this bike will make you feel and ride better. But it's one of those caveats where, is it the bike or is it you? And that's where this machine is kind of going to come down to a personal preference. Do you want to feel like the bike's flattering you, or do you want to feel like you're actually in control of this machine? And that is where I'll leave that decision up to you. I hope you guys enjoy this. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this.